Hey everybody, it's Whiskey here. Welcome back to Path of Titans, and I got a video here I just put together, some hunting I've been doing in Savannah this morning. Had a really good day in Savannah today. Started off with my friend Lycan here on these acros, and we wanted to hunt this Spino. It's kind of the only thing around. It was very early, and not a lot of players had come on yet, but this guy was here, so we wanted to hunt him. And even though he's got the ability to hide in the water, we knew we could put bleed on him, and he doesn't heal the bleed off when he's swimming, so we figured it'd be a good shot. We waited right to the end here and decided just to go in the water with him and finish him off because we knew he was low. So I just clipped the very end of it here because it was kind of the best part of the fight. But he had to go, so after that I was by myself, and I got hunted by some mapes, and then I came back and immediately got hunted by these two yangs. And when you're solo in Savannah, you become a target pretty quickly. And I knew that, but I wanted to test out this acro. I just recently switched the subspecies to a speed subspecies to try that out, using the turn for. I kind of bounce around between like bleed, attack, and turn, but I hadn't tried the speed one, so I wanted to try it out. Seems to work pretty good. You can see that little extra speed that you need sometimes, but I don't know if I'm going to stay with it. I may go back to the attack one. We'll just have to see. But as usual, you know, when you're in Savannah by yourself and outnumbered, you definitely need to use terrain to get an advantage, and that's what I did here, and how I ended up fighting these yangs. There's a lot of people that like to talk crap when you use terrain, and you know, to some extent, when people are like submerging themselves in water and kind of dragging a fight on, like we had an Argent drag their fight on for like an hour sitting in the green pond, and things like that are pretty annoying because it's like inevitably they're going to starve anyway, so you might as well just fight because you're going to die one way or the other. You might as well go out with a fight, but use it like this. I think it's smart. I knew that if I could get these guys in the water, they're going to be a lot less maneuverable, and that would take away their advantage. So that's how I got the win there. In this case, I met up with this guy, Sinex. He plays a lot on Apex Killers. I've seen him around. Never spoken with the person, but we group up together sometimes, and we just have a really good synergy when we fight. And we seem to kind of just know what each other's doing. And he was getting attacked here by these mapes, and they didn't know we were grouped. So I was able to come in the end and help them out. Surprised those guys, I'm pretty sure. But right after that, we ran into these Madrihorns. It was two Madrihorns, and so we started fighting them. And this was a really good fight. One of the best Madrihorn fights I've ever had. There was very little stalling involved, a lot of action, and Sinex is pretty aggressive when he's fighting, and so I like that because it really gives me a lot of opportunities also to come in and fight. There's a lot of windows, openings like right here that I'm able to get. Some people that I play with are very passive and kind of don't go in a whole lot, which is okay too. It's just a different play style, but I enjoy playing with somebody that's very aggressive, and this person here, Sinex, is. So we just tend to gel together. I noticed when we're fighting, and it's kind of surprising because I've never even, like I said, I don't even get in voice chat with him, and I'm more successful fighting with him than I am pretty much with anybody else. There's a couple other Giga players out there that I link up with and are very good as well, but I thought this fight was one of the best fights I've had, so I wanted to show it. Usually it's two Gigas fighting one Madrihorn. A lot of times the Giga players don't go after two because when there's two of them, it is a lot harder. Even though this one started off a bit smaller, the brown one, he grew to adult in this fight, I think. You can see him. I think he's growing as we're fighting, actually. At the beginning, he seemed a bit smaller than the green one, but as the fight went on, he was the same size at the end. But we targeted the green one, and the brown one started doing a pretty good job protecting him. So I'm using the Ren bite and a charge bite. We're trying to stack bleed with Usurper's Call in this fight. Sometimes I do it that way, sometimes I use Pain Inhibitor, it just depends. In this case we decided to go with the bleed build. And they're also in a really good position. They're using their terrain wisely, and I think it's a very smart thing for players to do. You should do it. It's part of the game, really, is using terrain. Some dinosaurs can jump. Some dinosaurs can run fast. Some dinosaurs are not good at turning, and others are very good. And some dinosaurs are vulnerable in their back, behind, like these Matterhorns and Trikes and things like that. And so you really want to use the terrain to protect those weaknesses, and that's how the game was designed. And the people that don't use it will die most often, and most often lose the fight that they're in. You know, if you're on a dinosaur that can jump and you know you're fighting one that can't, you can jump up to a rock that they might not be able to get to, or something like that. And it would be silly not to use those advantages to help you win your fight. So don't give in to the peer pressure, don't give in to the bullying. When you see people complaining and saying, oh, you're a cliff camper, or you're a rock hugger, or whatever the case may be, just ignore them. That means you're winning the fight. Now right here, Synex got in trouble. He got bone or fractured by that elephant. So I was rushing in there to distract and to give him an opening to get away. And I thought that was a really good example of teamwork. Not trying to toot my own horn, it's just that when those opportunities arise, I like to try to, and I do get them captured on video. I think it's something cool to share, because I think it's kind of a learning moment for a lot of people. There's a lot of times when I group up, especially when I do just pick up group and group up with random people, if one of the teammates gets fractured like that, the other teammates just kind of stand there and watch, thinking that it's a hopeless situation, but it's not. You can see how I rushed in, and as soon as he got fractured, they're chasing him and they're focused on him, and I rushed in front of both of the elephants right at the other one, so they have no choice but to now focus on me and try to get a fracture on me, and that gave him the window that he needed to get away. And there's several fights that we have where you'll see we both do that for each other. And in some cases you might die doing it, but I kind of feel like I'd rather have a situation where I run in like that trying to help my teammate and die than stand there and watch them die, because either way you're going to lose the fight. And I hate the feeling of losing a fight when I knew that I could have probably done something to help. And if I die in a situation where at least I was doing something to help, I feel so much better about myself and about the fight, because I can at least say, you know, hey, I did everything I could, you know, to win that fight and to help my friend. I didn't just leave him, you know, hung out to dry. And one of the things that made this fight so good is that these Matterhorns were using their environment wisely. Like I said before, I commend them for doing that, and they positioned themselves well. And if they didn't, it would have been an easy fight. We would have just tail-ridden one of them and killed it, like we do so many Madres and so many of the bigger, slower creatures that don't really understand that they have poor turning and that they're vulnerable from behind. And so they don't do anything to protect their vulnerabilities. And it just makes it an easy kill, and it's not a fun fight. But in this case, these players were using their brains, and they were being smart, and they were using their environment. And that's one of the things that made this such a great fight in the end. And when I have when I get a victory like that over a tough fight, it's so much more rewarding when you win a really, really tough fight, that victory is so much more rewarding than just an easy kill. You know, like if you, sometimes I see players like in packs all the time, not sometimes, all the time, especially in the hot spots like Savannah, you'll see, you know, like packs of 5 Ceratos running around and just killing lone players. And killing juveniles sometimes, and just killing they look out there and they look for the easiest possible target that they can find, and that's the one they go after. And I mean, some people find that fun. That's fine if you do, to each their own. But to me, it's like when I'm in a pack like that, I always try to find the most challenging stuff. Unless it's been a long time and somebody's starving or there's other, you know, circumstances, I try to find something that's super challenging, because that's the whole reason I play the game, is for a challenge and to have fun and have good fights. I like the better, longer fights than just a short, oh, there's a, you know, solo adolescent Madrehorn, let's go kill it, or a adolescent, you know, Argentinosaurus, you know, stuff like that's just very simple. I'd rather fight the 2 Madrehorns like this, because it just makes a great video. It makes it so much more fun, and it's a much better experience when you fight challenging fights and win them. One of the things about using terrain, I agree that it can get annoying, is that when they do get up on a rock like this, or if they get into a pond or something like that, and they just sit there forever, that can be annoying, because at a certain point, it's an inevitability that the player's going to die, and they're just basically stalling it out. In this case, that wasn't really true, because you see how low my partner is here, and so they were smart for using the rock, and they were buying as much time as they could to get some heals and to make it as difficult as possible for us to get them. And they were still coming out and fighting, you can see here. So it wasn't like they were just sitting on the rock the entire time, and I respect that. That's a good way to fight. This is an example of how not to use the terrain. And this is an annoying way to use the terrain. And it's totally different than using it wisely and using it to your advantage to win a fight. And it's more so just to try to prevent your opponents from getting a kill. And it's a completely different play style. This is more just being selfish and not even attempting to play the game. This person just immediately runs to the ocean as a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, if you're a semi-aquatic, that would be the smart thing to do, but a Tyrannosaurus Rex is not swimming across that entire ocean to go to that island over there, especially when there's whales and stuff in there. And so at this point, he knows he's going to die. He can either fight us or die to the whale, and he just chooses to go in the ocean. Luckily, the whale tail whacked him back on the land so we could finish the fight. But that's not using the terrain wisely. That's just being selfish and petty and trying to prevent your opponents from even having a fight and from even winning the fight when you know you probably lost. And I'd say the best thing to do is just fight. You're there to fight. You're in a dinosaur fighting game. You're going to experience sometimes a situation where it's overwhelming odds. You want to do what you can to survive, but when you realize that, okay, this is overwhelming odds, just go out with a bang. Fight as good as you can, get as much practice as you can in the fight, say GG's and move on. But don't go to a hot spot by yourself and then, be petty and swim out into the middle of the ocean so somebody can't kill you. Like, if you don't want to die that bad, then if you're not willing to die, if you're not willing to fight and die or die in battle, then don't go to the hot spot. Go somewhere else and try to avoid the fight. But you should never ever be petty and just use the terrain to body deny. And it's even against the rules. But it's a troll-like behavior, and it does not make the game fun at all. I don't know what this Hats was thinking. This is another kind of strange behavior that I encounter sometimes with players on this game. A solo Hats, it's a mid-tier, is not going to win a fight against two sub-Titan Gigas. It's never going to happen unless you get some kind of, maybe there's a 0.5% chance that you might do something because you get lucky. But it's just a really, really silly fight, and I think the person was just being a troll. They know that they don't stand a chance, but they're trying to fight us and attack us from the air, and just be annoying, And if you get bored in the game, don't go and irritate other players. Like we're trying to hunt, we're trying to go and find a good hunt. We want to try to find a Patasaurus or an Argent or something like that, or a Rex duo, some kind of a challenging good fight. We're walking around trying to do that, and we get this player, buzzing around on a Hats doing dive bombs on us for just the sole intention of just being a troll and being annoying. And I really hope George makes a rule against this kind of thing, against players that are attacking without any intention to hunt, or without any there's a lot of times players just come in and they just want to attack you for no reason other than just to be a troll. And I think that should be a rule break. If you're going to hunt somebody, you should have the full intention of hunting them or fighting them. And this guy made this fatal mistake right here, because I have headbutt that knocks him right out of the sky, and he wasn't able to pay attention to that rock, and he got the fate that he deserved. So GG's Hats, you play stupid games and you win stupid prizes. But I hope George makes a rule that states that if you're going to attack somebody, you need to be prepared to either hunt or contest them. You should not be allowed, you should never just go attack somebody and then run away or fly away, because that's just it's just petty and troll-like behavior that we should not be tolerating in this game. So hopefully that comes in the near future. Make a suggestion, if you don't mind, in the suggestions on the Apex Killers server, and hopefully George will see that and agree and possibly put a rule in about that, because I don't think anybody likes that kind of thing. This is an example of a good mirror match here between a couple of other Gigas. This is always a tricky matchup, because they're the same dinosaur you are, and it's just going to come down to who can focus better and who can move around better and avoid getting hit, and who can avoid getting hit by their own teammate more, because that's usually what happens in these fights, is that the teammates bite each other, and whoever does that more is going to lose. And then to finish off the gameplay session, we went on to DB Gigas and got a couple of hunts in with them. Hunted some bars and then later some trikes. Wanted to test out the DB Giga because it's got blood soak now. And that's why you see my dinosaurs all red like that, because it's got the same ability that the Tyrannotitan has, where it's called blood soaked, and when you attack you get charged up blood soaked ability, which gives you better stamina regeneration. And on a DB Giga, stamina regeneration is definitely a must. It has horrible stamina, so you really need to get that stamina regeneration going to help you out. And it was key in fighting these bars, because you can see how low my stamina is here, and bars have an amazing amount of stamina. So that's gonna either win or lose the fight for you. So is how much stamina you have, or you're able to regenerate. If I didn't have that little bit of extra stamina there regenerating for me, I probably wouldn't have been able to catch back up with this bars to help my teammate out. You can see how low he's getting in this fight here. And then we finish off with this fight against these two Triceratops, and leave that with you guys. That's the end of the video, and I do appreciate you watching. Please like and subscribe, and I do hope to see you out there in Gondwa. Goodbye.